Hey, and welcome to The Solid Verbal. Now would be a perfect time to consider subscribing. Yeah, that little subscribe button for year-round premium college football content. That's it. Here's the video. Enjoy. Subscribe.
Next topic, Dan. Play that sound one more time. Can I play that again?
What do we got? Our inkjet printer.
We have
We're printing
the results.
something out from our compact.
We have the results for the top 3 most overrated teams.
Ooh. Oh, I like this. Okay. Ooh. So this is more of a perception thing because we're in the off season. So the teams that are generating a healthy amount of positive buzz summer before the season.
There is a recurring theme.
Yeah.
I would say of the 7 or 8 answers that I pulled, all but one mentioned USC. That includes the Spirit of Coriad, Brett, Miles, Dan, Connor, Mike.
Yeah.
All of these folks mentioned USC. In their list. Is USC overrated, Dan?
Probably. The thing that makes them more properly rated is I think people looking at the medium or long-term potential of having a coach and probably a long list of quarterbacks as good as Lincoln Riley, and his future quarterbacks will be obviously Caleb Williams now, and I think it's Malachi Nelson is the quarterback of the future at the moment, but he will keep, and understandably so, attracting the best of the best quarterback-wise. The problem with USC is it's not a place in the modern era through multiple coaches, and like you can look at the reasons why certain coaches were hired or not hired, that has succeeded. 80s, 90s, there is a specific Hall of Fame caliber coach who succeeded at USC in Pete Carroll at a very specific time, whereas in a number of ways, I think times are different in terms of commitment at USC. I know it's improved, but a lot of the times, like our friend Bill Connolly likes to say, it's not the coach, it's not the players, it's the place. Is it the kind of place that can continually foster a 10 plus, 9 plus, 11 plus win program? And we keep going back to the USC well that there's so much hope among sports writers. Please, just USC. It's time, please. And there's always a reason. There's always something. Oh, well, we couldn't do it because of this. Oh, well, this happened. Oh, well, this circumstance. You got to see it before you rate them properly. You got to see something. And so there's understandably more hope now, but right now there's just there's a little too much in the way of college football talkers saying, it's all happening. It's all finally happening.
And you know what? I think I get it. I think I get it to some extent because Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma to go to USC was the story of the offseason.
Right.
It's the story of the offseason, and it kind of happened before the season was over, right?
Sure.
It was a story that everybody is still talking about. There's still some bad blood. There will be for a while at Oklahoma. The whole USC with transfer portals and NIL and getting big names to come.
Sure.
Look, it's going to be a story, and I think as a result, I get it if maybe more so this year than any other year we've seen in recent memory. I get it if you want to overrate USC. I think they'll be better. They will certainly be interesting. And so I get where they're coming from on that front. I don't disagree with the take here. Another one that pops up is Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is interesting. Overrated.
I mean, you could just sort of take everything I said about USC and apply it to Texas. Yeah.
Right. Is there more of an inkling, more of a desire, let's say, among national college football media to make USC a thing or to make Texas a thing?
Interesting. I think it has to do with some of the bigger writers that live on the West Coast and are more familiar with USC. I think there is a desire for Texas. I think there is more of a desire for Texas because it's in a state that is more football crazy, and they are looked at. I think they have the biggest athletic department, or they're generating the most athletic revenue. There's something there with Texas. They have their own network. Like, Texas churns out a lot of alumni. Like, I think there's just more juice around Texas. USC is a smaller private school. Not tiny, but it's still a smaller private school. And it's in a town where it's like in 5th place or something in terms of the level of excitement over that team. So I think USC is more conceptual. Like, it would be cool if USC were again as good as it was with Pete Carroll. But Texas, like, people are mystified. People are hopeful with USC. People are mystified as to why Texas can't get it together with proximity to talent and the success they had during a brief window in the 2000s.
Sure.
Like, there is the idea that Texas should be closer to becoming dynastic than USC.
Dynastic. Yes,
Thank
exactly. You. Okay. Some others that were submitted here. Just going to rifle through these. Pitt, San Diego State, Rutgers. How's Rutgers overrated?
That was by win total, I think, but yeah.
Okay. We've got Miami. We've got Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Oklahoma is mentioned here. Michigan State. Okay. Texas A&M's an interesting one. Texas A&M's an interesting one.
Are they getting, besides for you, are they getting like dark horsey 10-win buzz? Or is it more centered around the personality of Jimbo Fisher, the dust up? Oh man, the word of the week. The dust up with Nick Saban, the recruiting class, and another situation where people are sort of sleeping giant, Texas A&M, where they've never proven anything. At least with Texas and USC, they had their little windows where Texas A&M had, Johnny Football for a year and a half. That's the difference to me. So I think there's certainly hope, and you can talk yourself into Texas A&M ascending to a certain point. But I don't know if there's a lot of overrating A&M, maybe over hyping or over buzzing, but I don't think people are looking right now at Texas A&M as like a clear threat in the West.
There's a lot of marketing. We're getting a lot of banner ads for Texas A&M.
It's the off season, of course.
At the moment, right? There are a lot of Instagram ads as you're scrolling through your feed talking about Texas A&M, reminding you that Texas A&M had a historic recruiting class, reminding you of the so-called dust-up with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. There's definitely buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And I think expectations are going to continue to rise just as a result of the recruiting class. And with Jimbo being there, Jimbo's won a national championship. He's a good coach. I think you're going to continue to see that pressure ratchet up. But as for expectations, I don't know. We went through the schedule. It's a tough schedule.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, as all the schedules are in the SEC West. But, okay. Let's shift gears over to...
By the way, I have a couple more. My cold water
please.
Overrated teams.
Please. What else do you have?
I don't know if it's internally overrated, but I'm definitely throwing some cold water on Oklahoma and Michigan. Michigan is a prime candidate for, as talented as they've been on offense, at least around the quarterback position, recruited really well on defense. The combination of two new coordinators, a coach who'd rather be elsewhere, or at one point would very clearly tried to be elsewhere, and now supposedly has made peace with the fact that he is the Michigan man. And having the kind of game wrecker that Aiden Hutchinson was, that isn't very clearly, at least, on their roster right now, and what that did in terms of how offenses had to play. Part of me thinks the 2021 Michigan team was lightning in a bottle, and there is a regression coming. A regression even with the offensive talent that they have. That to me is worrisome. Oklahoma, it's unfair to hoist the expectations on Brent Venables because of the coaching drama. Like, I definitely think Oklahoma's in for a year one adjustment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Oklahoma was the first team I thought of. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. A lot of Oklahoma people who listen to this. I'm excited about Oklahoma. I'm going to root for Brent Venables like crazy. It's just really, it's just really, what? Why?
Why? Well, I don't know. You're going to root for him like crazy?
Yeah. It's a great story. Going back home, taking over for Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
Trying to build the ship in a different way to spite Lincoln Riley. That's what college football is all about.
I know. I hear you.
So, yeah, I'm going to root for him. I want to see him do well. I just don't know how well he can do in year one. There's a lot of turnover there and new players and new spaces, and it's going to be tough.
I think they're going to have really fun moments on both sides of the ball. I'm just not sure that they're there in terms of, like, keep the train going, playoff expectation. Like, that's a lot.